Keep this video short and to the point. A few months ago, I did a video on YouTube where I explained that I was going to be lowering the amount that people could support me on things like Patreon and Contribute, because I didn't feel like it was right for me to have these tiers available when inflation has been going up and up and up. People's energy prices have been going up. Everything's been going up, and I didn't want to add to that. And at the time I mentioned, look, if things keep spiraling, I'm thinking of just cancelling Patreon and Contribute completely, and that is exactly what I'm going to be doing, because I also find that the format does not work for me, and I just don't think people are getting value for money. You should be getting a video a week at least, and I just can't do that because everything is just too crazy. If I get sick, which I do very often, if anyone in the family gets sick, all of that just gets sidelined. But what I have been doing is I've been uploading on things like TikTok, which I know some people don't like, so don't worry, there will be other options. If that isn't something that you want to support or go on, that's fine. But I am going to be cancelling Patreon, I am going to be cancelling Contribute, and what I'm going to be doing instead is I'm going to keep uploading on TikTok because that works very well for me. I like how informal it can be. I don't have to have soft lights, I don't have to have the studio, I can just film wherever I am and do a tutorial just right there. And I've been doing a lot of gardening content, and that works very well for me because I can show the progress from the start of the day to the end of the day. If someone has a question, I can reply to them directly, and I'm really loving that because it reminds me of the early days of YouTube, where it was a lot more about community and less about just trying to be I don't know, I guess the mainstream media and kind of an old media format. It was a new media format, and it was a lot more dynamic, it was a lot more involved, and it had this exciting feel to it. You had the space to be creative, which I think YouTube has really lost. Now that you have to make a video which is at the very least 8 to 12 minutes long, otherwise the algorithm penalizes you. It just means that you have to be a complete machine that has no social life, and that was fine when I was single. But then I found someone I wanted to get married to, and I had children, and it's just not a format that is friendly to anyone that has even the basic semblance of a social life. However, I found that TikTok works very well for me, and what I've done over the last summer is, in the summertime and in the holidays when Corazon isn't working, then we swap. So all the things that I would normally do around the house, he does, and then I work, and that's why you saw this massive upload of videos, and that worked really well for me. So I think I'm going to stick to that format because it allows me to take the term time to really think about, okay, what kind of video do I want to do? What do I want to show? What have I learned? How have I found a way to make the food production in the garden even better on a smaller space, on a smaller budget? So it gives me the time during term time to really think about it, really refine it, and then make something that's really nice and long and polished for YouTube. But then I can still upload on a shorter format on TikTok, reply to people directly, and I think I prefer that. And I don't know what's going on with this hair, but I'll just try and keep it down. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be stopping Patreon, stopping Contribute. I'll put the link down to my TikTok if you want to follow me on that. I'll be starting the garden series next, because over the last few months I did a whole series all about how to stay warm in winter, because as some of you know, this house doesn't have central heating, and we've spent the last 4 years learning how to get through winter without central heating. So when everyone was getting really worried about, I can't afford to turn the heating on, how do I stay warm? I was like, this is my moment. But now that we've passed the winter solstice and we're getting close to spring, and soon things are going to start growing, the light's going to start just being more light in England. In England, that's huge, and that's when you start to see the plants come up, that's when the quails start laying again. And I promised that after Christmas I would start doing a whole series all about how to grow your own food, but I'd start it from the smallest possible space, so assuming that you just have a window, that's it, and that your budget is next to nothing. And then I'm going to gradually work up from there. So no matter where you are financially, space-wise, green thumb-wise, a lot of people think, oh, I would kill a cactus. I did too. I was infamous for being able to look at a plant and the plant just going, pooh. And now look what I'm growing in the garden. So I found that with gardening, it's a stubbornness thing. Just like, no, I'm going to grow something. And also it's a confidence thing. I think when you're afraid of killing something, I think the plants smell your fear and they die out of spite. So I'm really looking forward to doing this series and just showing people, giving them a little bit of control, because at the moment I think there's a real lack of control and just a general feeling of hopelessness, and I don't like that. And it's amazing the difference that just having a stupid little mint plant on your windowsill can make for your mental health. Just being able to have a tea and from that plant, and just thinking, that didn't cost me anything. I grew it myself. It tastes amazing. Oh, there's this other tea I'd like to try. I'm going to grow that. And then you gradually get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm going to talk about all kinds of things about where do you garden if you live in a flat? Where do you garden if you're in the middle of the city and there's no space and it's too expensive? And I'm just going to try and work with people with where they are, because there's so many things you can do. And I just want to do something that gives people a bit more control, that I enjoy, and that I can also cater to them directly. And that's what I like about the format on TikTok, because people can ask me a question and then I can do a video reply directly. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I figured I'd give you a heads up. I'll have a link to everything down in the description box. So if you want to see the videos but just on Instagram, all my social media will be down in the description box. I hope you like this video, and I'll have something for you soon.